Hello, Aubrey. How's it going? I have a question for you, actually.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, I actually already know the answer to this, but do you like playing card games?
Oh, I love playing card games. I know, and you guys, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you probably know this. I love games, especially card games. And often, like if people just want to chat, I'll be the one that's like, "How about a game? How about we play a
Oh,
game?"
yeah, you're the person that
That's
annoys
me.
me.
Yes, sorry, Lindsay.
Because I'm exactly the opposite, right?
You're like, "Can't we
I just
just
want
sit
to
and chat?"
just get to know people and have
Totally.
good conversation. Like, I don't want to play games really, but hey, a
Fine.
lot of people agree with you, and maybe some people agree with me. So I'm curious what camp our listeners are in. Maybe that will be our poll today. Yeah.
Absolutely, right? Be sure to fill out the Spotify poll because we would like to know. I also prefer like games where you are able to get to know each other and we've talked
Yes.
about these before too, where they spark an interesting conversation. I love those kind
Mhm.
of games as well.
Yes. Yeah, and there's a lot of great ones. There's actually one. Have you played Vertels? I think we talked about this on the
Yes,
podcast
you talked
before.
about that, and there
Yeah.
was like something kind of strange came up with your brother-in-law or something.
Yes,
Yeah, that
yes, yes,
happens.
yes, yes. These are good campfire games when you're there to build a
Yes,
relationship, not so
exactly.
much to like play poker, right? And
Right.
so you get to know people on a deeper level through those
Yeah,
kind of games. But it can be kind of intense
for
because
sure.
sometimes I just feel a little lazy, like to open up, right?
Yes, exactly. Right. Those are so interesting. But today we're focusing on card games
Yeah.
because there are over 15 idioms in English
Really?
that reference playing cards. Yeah, I was
Oh
kind of
my
surprised.
gosh.
So this that was inspired by an episode from the past. Stay to the end and we'll share that in case you missed it.
Mhm.
And we decided to do a follow up, but this will be a 3-part series because there are so many interesting idioms in English. And a
Yeah.
lot of them we also use at work. So this is the first episode here. And then 2 and 3 will be on business English. So be
Hmm.
sure to follow both podcasts so that you don't miss any of these.
Oh, really good stuff. I can't wait. So open the search bar now. And if you're not currently following Business English, type in Business English. The yellow will come up and hit the
Mhm.
follow button on that show. So you're ready for parts 2 and 3. Okay, good.
Awesome. So let's dive in. The first one is play your cards right. This is so fun. It means to act in a way that is likely to lead to success, a successful outcome.
Yes, I
So
love
you
this
might
one.
say,
Yeah.
if you play your cards right, I'll let you in on a secret.
Yeah, my dad used to say this all the time when I was growing up. He's like, "Can we get ice cream if you play your cards right?" Right? It's just like a dad thing to say. I don't know.
Totally. I say it
Uh,
too. So I probably, me and your dad would get along, I think, because I don't want to
probably.
just be like, if you're good, right?
Yeah,
If
it's
you
so boring.
behave, it's
Right.
more
Ooh,
fun to
too
be like,
formal.
if you play your
Mhm.
cards right, we'll see.
Yeah. If you say if you behave, that feels too strict and formal to me,
Yes.
right?
No fun.
Yes.
I
Yes. So
agree.
here's another example. I was going to meet him for drinks, but he didn't play his cards right. Ooh, so we need a
Yeah.
little bit more context there,
Right?
right?
Maybe he wasn't responding to your texts or who
Yeah.
knows, anything could happen. Whatever they did, their behavior did not merit a date. Maybe this could be about people meeting through the apps and then you're
Yeah.
planning to meet for drinks and then something goes wrong in the text and you're like, "Nope, he didn't play his cards right. We're done here."
I'm gonna recommit to using this one because I love it. I love the
I
way
do
it
too.
sounds. It's nice and casual. Also, when
I
someone
agree.
asks you for something, it can feel a little bit transactional, and this is a way to soften that fact that they have to
Yes.
be good, they have to do something well or correct, but you soften that by saying, "If you play your cards
Yes.
right." Yeah.
I'm excited for you to start using it. It's fun when so if my partner's like, "Hey, should you wanna go for a date or something?" Like, "Well, if you
Yeah.
play your cards right," and I'm just being
Yeah,
playful, right? I'm like, "We'll see."
totally. I love that. Very cool.
That's
Okay,
funny.
that's the best one for sure. What's number 2?
Okay, 2 is in the cards. It means something that is very likely to happen or like destined. If you imagine this like foreordained destiny, we'll say it's in the cards. And this is sort
Yes.
of referring more to like tarot cards. There are also cards where you sort of like read someone's aura or their future. And so that's a little more of this when you say something is in the cards.
Yeah, this is really interesting because when we interviewed, we've been speaking about our professional English level 1 course that just came out.
Mm.
When we interviewed Kate, who's a financial analyst with a big banking company in London, she actually used the phrase on the cards. It's not
Oh,
on the cards.
interesting.
And I'm looking it up now. And yeah, I mean,
More common in the UK,
it
maybe
may be
on
a,
the cards.
yeah, British variation. of in the
Yeah,
cards.
interesting. It might be
Yeah.
more, how sometimes people will say online instead of
Right,
inline. There
right,
are
right, right.
different prepositions depending
Mhm.
on the
Mhm.
region.
Yep.
So yeah, I say in the cards.
Me too.
And
Yeah.
for example, oh, I think a promotion is in the cards for me. If you think you're going to be promoted, it means you
Mhm.
see it potentially in your future.
Yes, or I was hoping to get that job, but I guess it's not in the cards. Not in
And
the
what a
cards.
great way to frame, like, if you're not offered a position, instead of
Mhm.
being like, oh, I'm so bummed I wasn't hired, be like, oh, it's not in the cards.
Right, it's not in the cards, like, it's not in my destiny, it's not meant to
Yeah,
be, and that kind
exactly.
of releases a little bit of stress, right, about
Yeah.
things? Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was never meant to work out. I love that.
Right, and number 3, stacked deck. Now this one's a little less common, but, the deck is stacked against someone, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so it's a situation where someone has an unfair advantage or where the odds are heavily in their favor. We hear this a lot in sports. I say this, right? If
Mm.
teams when I'm playing volleyball are not even, would be like, okay, they're not, they've got a stacked deck. We'll just do our best.
Interesting. They've got a stack. Yeah, I don't use the phrase "they've got a stacked deck," but I do use the
The
cards are
team is
stacked
stacked.
against someone.
Would
Um,
you say like the team is stacked to mean like
uh,
they have a benefit, an
I've never heard
advantage?
that, but it doesn't
Oh,
mean it's not a
interesting.
thing.
So this is one of those like where we'll shorten it instead of, the grass is always greener on the other side, we'll shorten it. And same thing here, we'll just say they're stacked, right? Something is stacked against us, the team is stacked, and it's this
Mm.
idiom shortened.
Very interesting. Or I feel like I have a stacked deck at work since our team works so well together. Interesting. So this is conveying this in a positive tone.
Yeah.
I've heard it
Right? You're
used.
saying your teammates have all of these great skills, so you're like, "Oh, okay, we've got a stacked deck. We're gonna do great."
Oh, really interesting. Yeah. I've actually heard that used more in the disadvantageous sense. So if someone has the deck stacked against them, maybe they have some kind of disadvantage, like in society, for example, like a more
Yep.
societal comment, right?
And that is more common, I think,
Yeah.
but you will hear it this way. It can be used this way as well. This
Okay.
actually comes from, especially poker, when they're using multiple decks, someone might be able to count cards. And if the deck is stacked, that means there are still a lot of good cards in the deck.
Ah, very enlightening. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, Aubrey, we're on number 4. Play one's cards close to the chest, right? What does this
Yeah,
mean?
it means like to be secretive or cautious about
Mhm.
one's plans. So, for
Mhm.
example, I don't know what her plans are. She plays her cards really close to the chest. Just means like
Mm.
they're not an open book, sort of the opposite of being an open book.
Yes, or I usually play my cards close to the chest, but lately I find myself being an open book, so someone has changed, right?
They've decided to open up, right? And we talk about this in relationships a lot too. If you're playing your cards too close to the chest, not
Mhm.
being open, then it's hard to let people in for a
Yeah,
relationship.
for sure. And number 5, I love it because it's been made famous by Lady Gaga, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Poker face.
all of our listeners will know this term. What does it mean, Aubrey?
Yeah, it's an impassive expression that hides one's true feelings. So when you're playing poker, you can't show what card your cards are. You can't be obviously excited,
Yeah,
or upset. So we say
yeah.
this, but not just about cards, right? You might say, this is actually about card. Don't go to the casino. You have a terrible poker face. But
Mhm.
that's also not really talking about going to the casino. You're telling someone whatever they're feeling, you can see on their
Oh,
face.
I would be terrible at poker because everything's on my face. Or he has a good poker face. I can't tell what he's thinking, right? And that is definitely
Mhm.
an advantage in many ways in life, I think.
Yeah, it's true. I'm also not good at this. I think what I'm
Yeah.
thinking and feeling shows on my face. I'm an
Yeah.
open book.
Yeah.
There are benefits and drawbacks for
There are
sure.
benefits and drawbacks. Maybe it makes people more trustworthy, but I think being someone that doesn't have a poker face can be a little inconvenient at times, right?
Definitely, right? Sometimes you need that poker face to hide your emotions.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So in our role play today, we are at a baseball game. Fun. It's
Yeah.
springtime, so it makes sense, right?
I know it's
Mhm.
appropriate. I'm dying to get out to a baseball game. They
Me
do spring
too.
training games here in Arizona, and those are
Oh,
happening now. I'm like, "Oh, I wanna go to one."
yes. I kind of miss living in Boston because the Red Sox were such a big deal there. But here
Yes,
in
so
Denver,
fun.
baseball's like a little less of a deal, less of a big
Mhm.
deal. So, anyways,
Totally. Alright, I'll start us out.
mhm.
The Dodgers are winning by so much. Seems like they have a bit of a stacked deck.
Yeah, a win for the Cubs doesn't seem like it's in the cards.
I know you're a Cubs fan, but you don't look too upset. Maybe you just have a good poker face?
I'm a Cubs fan, but it's not over till it's over.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get us drinks. I think we played our cards right waiting for the line to die down.
Yeah. And what I like about this conversation is it's so realistic because we do move from one topic to the next so quickly as native speakers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right. Yes.
making comments on all these different things. It's not a thread that comes through, and I think that's one thing I wanna make sure our listeners pay attention to, right?
Yes, right. So let's go through this. I first am pointing out just the score. The Dodgers are ahead. And then
Mhm.
I say, it seems like they have a bit of a stacked deck. And I'm talking about their team being a lot better, which I have heard Dodgers fans talk about this. They have
Mhm.
a Japanese player who's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, I know who you're
Everyone
talking about.
loves him. I
Mhm.
should know his name, but I'm not a
It's,
huge baseball
oh,
fan. Do you know it?
no. Oh, it's I think it's Hiroki something. Our listeners are definitely gonna
I know
know.
our listeners are all
Um,
thinking it because he's
and
so
I knew
famous.
it. I've known it over the time, and now I can't think of it
But
right
I
now,
think
but
people
yes.
say this, they're like, "Oh, he has given the Dodgers a stacked deck because
Yes.
now they're so much better than everybody else."
Yes, he's really good, for sure, and
Yes.
baseball is huge in Japan,
Awesome, that's
huge.
so fun.
So, I actually went to a baseball game there, it was super fun.
Oh, that would
Um,
be fun. I love baseball.
yes, good. Okay, where are we at here,
So then
Aubrey?
you said a win for the Cubs doesn't seem like it's in the cards. So
Mhm.
you're predicting, you're saying like it's probably not gonna happen, right? That's not
Yeah,
the future we're looking at. Maybe it's like 12-0. A win
right.
for the Cubs is not in the cards.
Not in the cards, unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
And then you said, "I know you're a Cubs fan, but you don't look too upset. Maybe you just have a good poker face," right? I'm trying to figure you out,
Right.
right?
It's like maybe you aren't as big of a fan as I thought, or you just have a good poker face and you're
Right.
hiding how upset you are.
Yeah, and then I push back and I say, "Oh, it's not over till it's over," which is a very common expression in sports or competition, right?
Absolutely, right? It's like the score might be really uneven right now, but there's always the comeback, right? There's always
Yes.
the story of someone coming back, and so you never know. You never know what's gonna happen.
Mhm. Yes, and what's the last thing that you said, Aubrey?
And then I said, I think we played our cards right, waiting for the line to die down. So maybe when we got there, the line for a beer was a mile long. We're like, let's wait. And then
Yes.
we played our cards right. We made the right choice, and the line
Mhm.
died down. And now I can go and not have to wait in a long line.
Yeah, and again, you're making a comment and it's not rude that you have gone to another topic. It's normal, right? "Oh, I'm gonna go
Exactly.
get us drinks," and then maybe when you come back, you're gonna pick up that topic again of, the Dodgers gonna win or not,
Yes.
right?
And we have talked about this before on the podcast, but those two tiny words I said at the beginning of my statement do matter. I
Mhm.
said, okay, well, I'm going to get us drinks. It would be strange if you
Mm.
say it's not over till it's over, and I immediately say, I'm going to get us drinks.
You're
You need
right.
those little transitions. It's vital to pivot with these little words.
Pivot, and I do think we've covered that on the show, but I think maybe we should revisit that on the show
It's a
because
good
it's
idea.
so natural and native to do this, but you're so right. You do need some kind of transition, and it could be as simple as, "Okay, well, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah." You
Yep.
need something, okay? So we'll come back to
Exactly.
that another day.
There's
Yeah.
lots of ways we do that. So let's definitely
Yes.
cover that. Hit follow so you don't miss it.
Perfect. Guys, go check out All Ears English 2334. What do crayons, tools, and chandeliers have in common?
Yeah, that's where this came up. You guys
Oh,
shared
yeah.
not playing with a full deck. So that's also an
Ah,
idiom about card playing. And
yes.
then not the sharpest tool in the shed. Those mean the
Mhm.
same thing, right? They're kind of
Yes.
silly, talking about someone's intelligence or making fun of
Yes.
someone for making a foolish mistake. So if
Yes.
you missed that episode, go and check it out.
Oh, I'm excited for parts 2 and 3 of this
Yes.
topic over on are they both on Business English, Aubrey? Both over
Yes,
there? Okay.
exactly, right? There are
Okay.
so many idioms about card playing, and the rest of them really we use both in everyday conversations and at work. So even if
Beautiful.
you don't work in business, be sure to follow the Business English podcast so that you get all of those other idioms.
Love it. And what's our takeaway for today? We've gotten at some really important things to know about conversation, about culture. What else?
Yeah. And we use these idioms to connect in English, right? If
Mhm.
you aren't using idioms, your language is likely more formal, less playful.
Mhm.
15 idioms about card playing
Oh
that
my
you
gosh.
should be adding to your language to make it more interesting and fun and to connect more easily in English.
Yeah, 15 is so many, and we'll cover them on this show. So get ready, hit follow on the business podcast, and we'll see you over there very soon. All right.
Awesome. See you next time.
All right. Take care, Aubrey. Bye.
Bye.